I think for the newly bereaved, you are in shock and probably denial, and that is a useful tool because it numbs your brain so that you can get through the initial stages. You deal with the funeral, with the initial inquiry, and there's nothing else you can do except put one foot in front of the other. Your sense of the world is gone. So it's like crashing a vehicle. That is your sense of the world. You have to just keep walking, one foot in front of the other, until you find a new vehicle and you find a new sense in the world. It takes a very long time for the brain to recalibrate, to consider every nuance of that loss, of the person you've lost, of the change in your life, your relationships. And until your brain can recalibrate and look at everything, it cannot put it in one box. So you have to keep looking, to keep talking about it, to keep talking to people, to keep crying. That is your right in mourning, and that is what you need to be doing as new mourners. It's the most dreadful, awful position that you are in. And Compassionate Friends provides a library, people trained to help you, to listen to you. They cannot make it better, but they can help you to talk enough that you will make it better. And sharing all the people that are here will make it better. And for parents to deal with the remaining children, there's perhaps 2 points. Is that to be aware that while you are in the throes of grief, your surviving child or children are also confused and need to know that you are still there for them. If they are very young, they need to know that you will be there to make their lunch, bath them, put them to bed on a regular basis. If they are a bit older, they can be given books or counseling or discuss it. But the way you mourn is how you teach them to grieve. Crying is okay. Shared crying is wonderful. If you can support each other in your tears, that is the way to grieve. And let them cry. Being strong for them doesn't give them the message of how to grieve. And certainly you don't want to be upsetting them or crying all the time. But if you have to, explain it to them. There is an enormous power in words. Communication is what it takes between people, 2 children, 2 parents. I'm not feeling okay. I don't understand why you look to be okay. It offends me. I don't understand why you're crying all the time. I can't deal with the pain because I feel like I've failed. I feel hopeless. Words are important. Very important. So my first thought was when my brother died is, why wasn't it me? And I couldn't understand that, and that went on for months. It would have been much better if it was me. They were a family of 5. I'm a family of me. And I think there's always guilt and grief because we don't understand it. As parents, we make an unwritten contract that we're going to look after these children, and whether we're there or not, we feel we've reneged. Sibling grief is maybe every sibling has a feeling that the others loved more. So it would have been better for the parents if I went and they kept that other child. So that is always there. And even if your relationship with your children is different, they all need to know that they're important, that you love them equally. You might not have the same relationship with each child, but for them to know that you still value them and that you wouldn't rather they had died. because if they died then, you would be as upset. So it's a deeply complicated feeling, and I think to talk it through and say it's okay to feel that guilt. It's normal. That is part of grieving. There's this term used a lot, the new normal, but there are lots of new normals in grief. There's a great sense of anger. There's a great sense of guilt. Whether you were involved or not, I was nowhere near where the accident happened. I would still rather it had been me. It's something, it's sort of the only thing you can do for that surviving child, or as a surviving child, that you can do for the sibling. Rather take me and let them live. Then it seems right. Of course it's not right, but it happens. So it's words again. Not at all. That's what grief's about. The time it takes to heal is the time it takes. So if they are upset, or if you feel they are upset, then address the issue. Does it upset you when I'm crying? And if they say, I can't bear it, then you need to know why. Is it because they don't want to cry? They would rather be in denial. It's very more likely to be about them than about you. And encourage them to talk and say, you understand that it hurts them because they don't have the capacity yet to face it. But this is your way you're dealing with it, and you do need to cry. And they must voice their concern that it upsets them. Let them talk about their upset. Or if you can't talk, let them find someone to talk to them about it. Nish, there are two parts to that comment. The one is your mistrust of the world, and the one is how do you take care of your surviving son? And I think what you told him is correct. All he's asking is, am I going to die tomorrow? And when I drive in a car, am I at risk? So I think to reassure a little chap is very important. And I know that's very difficult because you don't believe it. So the second part is your insecurity of the world now, and we all feel that. We've come to realize that we are not in control and that anything could happen, because it has. And it's something we grapple with our whole lives. And so in my case, I came to a different view of life. It's not about the surety of life. It's about enjoying every moment, every God-given moment, because I don't know if when I drive out the gate, I'm going to get knocked down, or if I'm going to get COVID or something, or whatever. I don't know. But now I know. Now I can fill this moment with meaning. And talking to you is an incredible honor. And you can teach your son that life happens now, and there will be a tomorrow for him. And if there isn't, it won't be his problem, it will be yours. But you can reassure him that we can have faith, we can have hope in life. And it's what happens when you lose someone and you lose your sense of meaning of the world, is you lose hope, which is the core of depression, is a hopelessness. And that's something we all need to work through to make sense of our life. And we get angry because I believed this and now the world's betrayed me. But maybe we have to turn the facets and look at it from another point of view and see, what is life about? Is it about tomorrow, or is it about today? And I read a very interesting quote, because I read a lot of books, is if I ask God for the grace in the future, I get worried and anxious. If I believe He gives me grace for today, I can cope. Today is a very important time. And because we know that tomorrow could be bad, we get very scared. You're as scared as your son. And he's asking you, he feels your scaredness. He's asking you, will you be there? Yes, as far as I'm able, I will be there. You won't be alone, is what he's asking you. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to die tomorrow. Because we're here today. This is important. And we come here to mourn your brother because we love him just as much as we love you. The surviving children, they need a lot of reassurance because they can feel your pain. They can feel everything that you're feeling. And they are now making sense of the world. And if this world's like this, must I be scared? Must I be anxious? You can imbue them with faith, with courage. You all have courage. You've come here today, you've got up, you've got dressed, you've come here to open your grief. That's very brave. That's what you can teach your children. Your new normal is who you are now in grief. That is where you are supposed to be and who you are. You are angry, you are guilty, you are sad, you are pissed off at the world, you're confused, you don't want this. That is your new normal, and you are on a journey to learn new coping skills, to learn to live alongside the pain. You are learning a new sense of life. Like any child learns, you're throwing everything you knew out, and this is your new normal. The small things don't matter. You will find as you go along. That is your new normal. You are impatient, angry, resentful. That is your new normal. You need to talk it out. You need to find a way of expressing it, getting rid of the physical tension by walking, gym, hitting a newspaper on a pillow. That is your new normal. The guilt is eating you up, the despair. You need to talk about it. You need to share it with people. Everybody here feels it to some degree or another. It's not an isolated incident. That is the new normal of grieving. Where you are is where you are supposed to be. One of the most important things you need to do is self-nurture. You need to be aware of what you're feeling and respond. If you need to sleep, if you need a cup of hot chocolate, if you need to watch videos all day, if you need to call in sick from work, if you need to walk, if you need to talk, that's what you need to do. If sometimes it's impossible, you have to hold down a job, but acknowledge it and make a space for it. You need to take care of yourself. You are very, very important people, as important as the person you have lost. There are lots of new normals in grief. There's all the stages, but they all come and go together or separately or day after day or years ahead. That's fine. What you are feeling is in grief, and friends say the wrong things and you want to hit them. Walk away. They only look thinking of themselves. They're thinking, I could not deal with that. So the words that come out are defensive and they say the wrong things. And you'll find the people that care and that extend a hand. Talk to them. And if you hear someone is in grief, I know that I can say, tell me what happened. Very few people will ask that person because they think, oh, I'm going to upset her. You cannot be more upset than what you are now. So ask them, how did it happen? Would you like to talk about it? They'll soon tell you if they don't want to. But 9 times out of 10, not many people have said that. It is the most wonderful feeling. I would go with your instinct. You don't have to be friends. I didn't know you before. Well, then You can't heal her, so you don't talk. You ask her to talk to you. All you're saying is that you are understanding and you are giving her of your time. We can't fix people. I don't know the ins and outs of every person I've counseled, but by them talking, they are fixing themselves. So if you have an instinct that you can help her just by being there, I'm sure someone reached out to you. So it's the same thing. It's, would you like to talk about it? Would you like to come and have a cup of coffee? You don't have to say anything. You can sit in dead silence. They will lead it. And if they're awkward, you can start telling them about your story, because people learn a lot from our stories. But you can't tell people, you will feel this, you must do that. We don't know that. But to give someone the space to heal is all we can do. Not at all. They will soon say, I don't want to talk about you, don't phone me. Then that's fine. They're allowed to be there. Then they're not ready to look at it. No, it depends on the age. The biological drive in small children is to grow. They will come to it at a later stage in their teenage years when all this growing is done, or later. If when they're small, you can check in with them. If their habits are abnormal, if they're angry or not eating or crying or avoiding, or their habits change, then you can find out what's troubling them and give them the space to talk. And you can ask them, are you upset? Is there something you need to share? And you can take them for a walk. You can get them relaxed. And if you're really concerned, then I would definitely get therapy. Someone professional. Don't just let it and hope, leave it and hope it will sort itself out. We're there for our children.